Everybody, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video we are going to be talking Chris Watts. And why are we talking Chris Watts? Because there is a new phone call, a 14-minute phone call of Chris Watts saying he deserves to get out of jail. I will link the phone call below so you can listen to it, because it is crazy to think that this man really thinks that he deserves to get out. Chris Watts believes that he should get a new trial because of how fast everything happened. And I'm baffled by this. And I think it's crazy that there's somebody out there who's willing to listen to him and offer him advice and try to say, you know what, you might be right, Chris. There's a chance and there's hope. Let's talk about it. So like I said, we are going to be talking about the Chris Watts story. I'll just do a brief run through. If you want to watch the documentary on Netflix, you'll get the full rundown of what's happened. But I'm just going to give you some like timestamp type things and talk about, and then we're going to talk about this phone call. So in the Netflix documentary, we learned that Shanann got home at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was the last time that anybody had heard from her. And her friend Nicole was the one that dropped her off, and Nicole went to check on her in the morning, no response. And she missed her doctor's appointment, so Nicole got suspicious of this. And then Nicole also said that she missed a work meeting, and that made her suspicious, so she went to the house. When she got to the house, Shanann's car was still there, her car seats were still in the car, and the doors and everything were locked tight. Nicole had called Chris previously, earlier in the day, and Chris had told Nicole, do not go to my house. Why? Why? Why wouldn't you want me to go to your house if I'm telling you your wife is missing? He claims that Shanann is on a play date and everything's fine, don't go to the house. Nicole doesn't buy this. So Nicole goes to the house, she calls the police. The police show up, and this is where we see in the Netflix documentary, it's body cam footage of the police showing up to the house, talking to Nicole, and then Chris coming to the house, coming home from work, talking to the police. There's one part of the body cam footage that's not in the Netflix documentary that they said that Chris had a phone conversation with a police officer after they got the garage code from Shanann's mom, and Chris said the garage code doesn't work. It hasn't worked for a while. I'm on my way. Suspicious. Anyway, Chris gets home and he opens the garage, assuming with an opener in the truck because the code doesn't work. And why does he go through the garage? Well, because the door is locked from the inside. Suspicious. He goes in the garage. One weird thing that happened to me was he like walked past and looked in Shanann's car, stopped, backed up, and looked at Shanann's car, opened the door, grabbed something fell, he picked it up, and then continued into the house. That was suspicious to me. Don't know why that wasn't suspicious to the police officer. When we cut to the inside of the house, they find Shanann's phone, her purse, and Chris makes a point to point out that her ring is there too. Like, was he trying to say he thinks that she ran off? But earlier you said she was on a play date, and now you're like, oh, her wedding ring is here. Why is that? Oh, why is her ring here? Fuck you, Chris. They search the house and they notice that all this stuff is here, and Nicole's getting more worried because she would not go anywhere without her phone. She would not go anywhere without her purse. And her and the girls are just missing. Where are they? Cut to the neighbor's house. We're in the neighbor's house. The neighbor is showing footage, and it shows Chris at 5 o'clock in the morning backing his truck up to the house. That is the only thing that happens between 2 in the morning and now, is Chris backing his truck up into the driveway at 5 o'clock in the morning to load tools into the truck. Sadly, it's blocked by a bunch of trees and everything else. You only see the truck. And Chris is probably smart enough to know his neighbor has a camera, so he does everything from the other side of the truck, so you never really see what happened. If you believe in paranormal activity, I do. I believe that people can speak to you from the grave. There is a part where the neighbor cuts back from the tape footage to regular TV, and right after that, we see the footage of a fetus, and we know that Shanann is pregnant, and then we see a skull being drugged down into oil. At the time, you don't know that this is creepy, but once you watch everything through, you realize how creepy that moment is, because I'm gonna clip it here if I can find it.
She's pregnant as well. How far along? 14, 15 weeks.
Because Shanann is pregnant and she's missing, and the girls' bodies are in these oil tanks at this work site. Was Shanann speaking from the grave? Was Shanann saying something happened to me? Was Shanann sending signals? I do think she was. Keeping up with the suspicion, Chris is leaving the house to go talk to the detective. The cop stays behind. Chris doesn't want the cop to stay behind and talk to the neighbor. You can see he kind of lingers there, and he's like, no, go ahead, I want to talk to him. Like I said, for full details, you can watch the whole documentary. We're just trying to get to this phone call. Cut to the next day, Chris does a interview on the news saying, I just want my girls back. I don't know where they are. I don't know where Shanann is. No emotion in his face whatsoever. There's a criminologist or crime person that says the best thing he did was that interview. And he said this is because that interview shows Chris showing no emotion whatsoever for the fact that his wife, who's pregnant, and his 2 daughters are missing. Cut to the next day. The next day, Chris does a polygraph test and fails. And my favorite part of the documentary is the lady's like, you know, you'd be pretty stupid to come in here if you knew anything about what happened to them. She knew. She wasn't dumb. So anyway, he fails the polygraph test. And they tell him he fails the polygraph test. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know anything. Like, I'll take another one if you need me to. Like, I don't know anything. So they're like, okay, fine. We'll get your dad. You can talk to your dad. He's talking to his dad, and his dad's like, what's happening? And he's like trying to whisper, probably because he knows he's on camera. And he's like, I failed the polygraph test. And he's like, what happened? He's like, I had to kill her. And at that moment, that's the first time that Chris confesses to harming any of his family. And he says that Shanann hurt the girls, so he did the same to Shanann. He had to kill her because she smothered the girls, so he did the same to her. So they come back into the room, and they're like, Chris, don't do this. Don't do this to Shanann. Don't do this. Don't like sully her name. Don't smear her and drag her through the mud. So anyway, Chris sticks by his story at this moment. They arrest him because, you know, he murdered her. They ask him where the bodies are. He points out on a map of this site where Shanann's body is buried, face down, by the way, because he rolled her out of a blanket, and that's how she landed. So he buried her face down. Shit. Then he says he put the girls' bodies in the oil tanks. So at this moment, that's all that he's giving them. Cut to a few months later, in November, they're going to have his trial. He confesses to all 3 murders. He confesses to killing Shanann and confesses to killing the girls. So now he tells them that he killed Shanann, choked her out, and Bella walked in while he was killing her. And at that point, he wrapped Shanann up in her sheet, put her in the back of the truck, grabbed the girls in their blankets, and took them out to the truck too. Drove 45 minutes to an hour to this site and smothered the girls one at a time and put them in these oil tanks. Wow. So you're like, oh God, it couldn't get worse. It could not get worse. It does. Cut to the letters from Chris' book, and he tells her that he actually tried to kill the girls another time in the house, that he smothered the girls in their beds and he thought they were dead, and then he went and killed Shanann. I strongly believe that Shanann was not awake when he killed her. He claims that when he strangled Shanann, she didn't fight, she didn't struggle, she just took it. I don't believe that. I don't believe a woman pregnant with a baby and has 2 kids in the room that she does not know at this point he's tried to kill. You don't think she would fight to save those kids? Because if he's killing me, what's going to happen to my kids? And I'm pregnant with another baby. So then he tells her that he smothered them in their rooms. They walked in on it. Bella walked in on him killing Shanann. He took them out and smothered them again. God, this man is sick. So now we have 3 times that Chris has told us that he killed his family. Cut to this phone call. This phone call starts off with Chris saying that he has been spending a lot of time in the library reading books, and that in jail he has found God, and God has directed him to all the right things that he needs to do. And God's plan for him is not for him to spend the rest of his life in jail. What? So Chris thinks there's a way to reopen his case with Rule 35C. It's not an appeal for his case, it's to reopen his case because he feels things were done unconstitutionally. Basically saying that with how fast everything happened, that things were not done right. That his confession was coerced, that his lie detector test was falsified, and that they did everything so fast, and it's the first time that he did any of that stuff. So he believes that he should have a second trial, a second chance to prove his innocence, and that the 2 years that he spent in jail were enough. You spent less time in jail than your girls were on this planet, and you think that that is enough time for you to be able to reappeal your case, reopen your case and get out. And furthermore, during this phone call, we find out that on the phone is Chris and this mysterious person, this guy who we don't know who he is, seemingly a private investigator. And then there's a girl, Anna, Chris's girlfriend. Kristen's new girl. Who, Anna, what the hell is wrong with you, girl? You trying to get this man out of jail? What is wrong with you, Anna? Anna is the new girlfriend because we know Nicole done skip town. She done changed her name. She done something. She don't want anything to do with this. She's moved on. But now we have Anna in the picture, and Anna is trying to help Chris get out. And by saying that all this stuff happened too fast and it was unconstitutional and he deserves a second chance. And then on top of that, the mysterious man on the phone says, oh, they should have let you go home and rest. They should have let you come back another day for your polygraph test. What? So he should have been well rested and got to go home and sleep in his bed and have time to think about what he was going to say during this polygraph test so he could pass it? I'm baffled, flabbergasted, supercalifragilistic. I am just crazed at the moment that this is a thing and that this is happening. And the guy says, you know, I know some people who will really give you some hope and who will really help you out. What? I'm just like crazy right now. So anyway, I had planned on filming a completely different video, and then I got on and saw this video that this phone call was released. So I had to come on here and talk about it. And I had to dress up as the devil himself because, well, with Chris. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed a video like this. If you want to see more videos like this from me, please subscribe. Please sound off in the comments. Let me know anything else you would like me to talk about. This Chris Watts story is crazy. It's been on my mind. I think it's because I'm helping raise a 3-year-old, and I couldn't imagine somebody doing this to somebody so pure and so innocent. So it's just been on my mind. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell icon so you can know when I'm going to be posting videos, because I want it to be every Monday, but I've missed a Monday. Actually, I technically missed 2 Mondays because one Monday I just gave y'all a music video. Last Monday I didn't give y'all anything. So I'm trying to stick with it, but some crazy things have been happening. Here we are. We're back. Whatever. We're going to just act like those 2 weeks didn't exist. But I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being with me on this journey. And as always, may the fierce be with you.